Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I'm starting another project today using my Craft of the Month box from Stitch Kit. This month the focus is on embroidery. I'm going to link to my Stitch Kit playlist so that you can check out what was in the box and everything, and look at all the previous boxes that I've had. I've had a few from them now. I've been absolutely thrilled to bits with every single one. I think they're really good value. They're really well thought out boxes, and each one is custom made for the individual person. I haven't seen another company doing that. As I say, I've been very impressed with the quality and the value for money, and I'm really happy to recommend them to all of my friends here on YouTube. This month they Kirsty and Rachel at Stitch Kit sent me a one-off mystery box, a £50 value mystery box. Now you can order a mystery box and choose your price point from £25 and upwards, I think it is, and they will adjust accordingly. And then when you order, you also fill in a little survey where you can tell them what your preferences are, what your favourite colours are, what kind of things you like doing and don't like doing, and all of that. And they custom make every single box. No two boxes are the same. If you want one exactly like the one I had, you can tell them that and they will do their best to accommodate. So you can choose the Craft of the Month box, which is £50, but we have got a discount code which will give you 10% off of that. Or go for the mystery box option, choose your price point, and if you specify cross stitch and embroidery, again you can use that discount code and get 10% off. Or third option, you can go for a monthly subscription, and I think that's either £25 or £45, and you can get 10% off your first box as well, again if you specify the cross stitch and embroidery. If you like embroidery and not cross stitch, or vice versa, you can specify that in your preferences, and they're just so flexible. I honestly haven't come across another company that do this. So I've already made this. This is my first project with this month's bag, with this month's box rather. So I made this project bag. It's really hard to show on camera. I have taken some photos, but yeah, it's really hard to show. So I was delighted with this. That's the other side. The plain calico bag came in the kit, and I boxed the bottom, which was really easy to do, and added a colourful lining. You'll find the previous video where I showed how I did all of that in the playlist that I'll link in the description. So one of the stars of the show in the box was this book, Aneela Hoey Sweet Stitches, which is full of 250 different embroidery transfers which you can use over and over again. And a couple of people very kindly pointed out to me in the comments that if I get an embroidery transfer pencil or pen, you can draw over the design of a transfer that you like and keep on using it indefinitely, which I thought was brilliant. So I need to get hold of one of those. Someone mentioned pencil and someone mentioned pen, so I guess you can get both. Today what I want to do is use another one of the transfers. I quite like the look of this one. Obviously it's coming out backwards because when you apply the transfer, when you iron it on, it's going to reverse. And what I want to do today is try using it on a darker fabric using a water-soluble embroidery transfer paper. So I happen to have some of that I got for a different project, so I thought I'll give it a go because I'd quite like to use part of a pair of old jeans to make a little pouch. That would make a really handy pouch to put cutting and measuring things in to go inside the project bag. I also added pockets to them. There's pockets inside my project bag as well, and they were made out of this gorgeous you can only just see it, floral print that I really love. So I thought I'll line this pouch with that print as well, and then the whole thing will kind of coordinate together. I am going to be giving away my makes from this box. I'm going to be giving away in next month's giveaway for the live stream Arty Farty party. So watch this space if you fancy that. So let's go to the desk and have a look at what I've got ready. So here's the book. This is the transfer I'm going to be using today. Here's the hoop that came with the kit. Don't think I'm going to need it. I think for stitching onto this denim, I think it's going to be stiff enough by itself. I think I'm probably not going to try and get that in the hoop, so I won't be using that today. We also had this handy little pair of snips, which has been really nice to use. Very well timed because most of my little sharp scissors seem to be going blunt at the same time. Chalk marker, I used that for marking out the take to the squares that I cut out to box the corners, so that was handy. This little extra, I might dangle that off the bag. I think that'd be quite cute. Little key ring, but quite nice to dangle off your, use as a scissor keeper or just to dangle off your bag just for fun. There were 5 needles. I've still managed to lose 2 despite having 2 holders with the kit. But anyway, managed to keep 3 of them. So they came on this magnetic holder. There's also this little holder that is really ideal for when you're using a hoop, because you've got your fabric on your hoop and then you put this on one side and the metal back on the other, and they clip on like this. I'm sure it'll go through the jeans okay. There we go, like that. And then it will keep your needle so you don't lose it. So how I've managed to lose 2 anyway, I don't know. There was also this bobbin winder, which I had a lot of fun with. So I wound all of the skeins. There were 20 skeins of thread in this kit. DMC thread, really nice thread. And there were 30 of these plastic bobbins. And some of the card bobbins also came in this, which was also in the box. It's a very, very generous box. So it's £50 worth. You can get £5 off because there's a 10% discount code. I'll put that in the description box. And I added it up to like £80 worth value if I'd have ordered it all from Amazon. So yeah, very, very good value. And all lovely quality things, you know. Oh, and the calico bag itself also came in the kit as well. So yeah, well, let's get all of them out of my way a minute. And this is a pair of my husband's old jeans I thought I would use to create this pouch. So I need it to be, obviously it needs to be big enough to take that design. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be brave enough to try a zipped pouch or not. I'm going to see how it goes. I might do just a fold over one. Keep it simple this time. And obviously I want it to be big enough. This is probably the longest thing I'm going to keep in there. I'll probably put my wheelie cutter thing in as well. Perhaps a little sharp pair of scissors. Yeah, it's going to be all cutting and measuring things. That's what I'm thinking. I will probably put this in with the bag for the giveaway, so I'm saying I'm going to keep. I'm just imagining what someone else might want to keep. That's about the right size, and I'm going to cut this across here. Ironic, isn't it, that I'm doing an embroidery that says measure twice, cut once, and I'm not measuring anything. I'm going to take this hem off, and this is slightly angled, so I'm going to just straighten that up a minute. It's too gorgeous, isn't it? You can't throw that away. I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going to avoid the zip today. I'll fold this right on where the seam is, like that. I'm going to cut this one a little bit shorter. I'll end up lining with that floral fabric, folding this flap over like this, and I'll stitch the ends. Button closure, which is something I love to do, where you put a big button here, you put ribbon or tape or something underneath it, and then you wrap it right round and wind it around the button to close it. And that way it could even be wound up like that, depending on how much you've got in there. Yeah, okay, it'll make sense as I go along, I promise. Design, I'm going to put on here. And I need to do that before I do any of the stitching together and stuff, because otherwise the back of my stitching will show. So I need to heat up I've got this little craft iron, I need to get that heated up. Right, so this is the stuff I've bought. It was a pretty reasonable price on Amazon. I can't remember how much now, but it was the most reasonable looking one that I could find, that had the sticky back and was water soluble. And because it's A4 size and it's got that backing to it, I could print as well on that, which I thought would be a really fun thing to try later on as well. I'm going to be as economical as I can with this stuff, so that I can use it for, so even that little bit down the side I will keep. So I'm just hoping that the having to iron the transfer on isn't going to adversely affect anything. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. I have been using this on nearly maximum to apply the transfers to the fabric, but of course now I'm not applying it to the fabric, I'm applying it to this, so perhaps what I should do is try a little piece first. That would make perfect sense, wouldn't it? I'll just cut this little end off here to have an experiment with. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, oh, I must just show you this. I put this here so I don't forget. This was a present from the lovely Granny Sue. Thank you so much, Sue. I really appreciate it. And my shoulder and my wrist, really appreciate it. And my elbow, actually. I get a lot of pain. I spend a lot of time editing and things, and I get a lot of pain. It's partly due to an old rotator cuff injury from doing care work in a previous life, and partly just from doing a lot of work on the computer and getting older, I guess. But anyway, these trackball mice, once you get used to them, are so much easier. You've got left click, right click, forward, backward. This is the middle button. Yeah, they're really nice. And this one can be used Bluetooth or with a USB connection, so it's all wireless. So for doing it in this kind of situation where I haven't got space on my desk to be able to move a mouse around on a suitable surface, it's a real boon as well. So yeah, thank you, Sue. Mwah. Okay, I'm going to take this little one and see. Just see if I can apply this. I'm going to turn the heat down a bit. Just instinctively I'm thinking it might be too much. So what you're supposed to do is heat it first as well, so let's heat that first. Put that print side down. Okay. Okay, it's transferred absolutely fine. Let's just make sure that I can still peel off the sticky and it will still stick to the fabric. I mean, if it won't, what I will have to do is just tack it to the fabric or something, I guess. No, it seems to be fine. Good, thank goodness for that. I've stuck that to my denim. I can still see the design. See, I wouldn't have been able to if I'd have just applied that transfer directly to the denim. It wouldn't have shown enough, would it? But on that stuff, it will. And then I just have to wash away the surplus, where you can cut away as much as you can apparently, and then you wet it. So I'm just going to experiment with this a little bit. And apparently that all washes away. Oh yeah, oh yeah, look. I'm not going to enjoy that, but I can see that it will completely wash away. It's just dissolving and going into a sticky gloop which is coming off, and hopefully will completely wash out once I submerge it in water. Okay, I'm happy with that. Pop it on there face down, so you do the print side out, that's why it's printed back to front. The instructions say to warm the fabric before you put it on. It's very easy on the calico. I'm just not, very confident doing it on this stuff because I don't know if you're really supposed to or not. Okay, I reckon that's warm enough. Let's pop this down, and then you're supposed to hold down for I can't remember how many seconds they said, but I ended up doing it a bit less than they said because I wanted to be able to use the transfers more than once. Oh, I've moved that now, I'm going to have to take it off. Oh no, hang on. Okay, let's come over here a bit more. So I've managed to blur my line a little bit there. You can see because I moved it, didn't I? But I think that's okay. I think I can write that with my stitching, and because that by the time I wash this stuff off, then this isn't going to show, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Yeah, it was much easier just doing it straight on the calico, but I think that's because I'm being nervous of this, doing it this way. Okay, so I'll just quickly iron that a little bit. So now I'm going to peel this off and stick it on there, and I'm going to aim to have it there because I don't want it to be the bit that's folded over. Okay, let's go for it. I think this will work. So let's get it as central as I can. I'll just cut the pouch down if I have to, if it's way off. I think that's okay. Smooth that down, and then I can peel the rest of this away. Otherwise I think I would have ended up getting wrinkles in it. Yeah, I think it's working. Brill. You can see how if you were doing this on a fabric that's kind of lighter than denim as well, it would give it some stability. So you could just use this as a, yeah, just as a stabiliser to sort of freehand stitch into as well. Now you can't see that too well on the camera, but with my naked eye I can see that well enough. There we are, that's focused now. And I think what I'm going to do is go over some of the areas, certainly the ones that are a little bit fainter there, with my heat erasable pen, just to be sure, just in case any of this rubs off as I'm going or anything like that. Oh dear, you won't believe this. I've got to tell you, you'll laugh. I know Tom will laugh. There was I, carefully going over these lines and getting frustrated because there's no sooner I did the line than it just seemed to sink into this fabricy stuff and disappear. I couldn't understand what was going on. I was going over it over and over again, and suddenly it dawned on me I had just ironed this on. Right, so the fabric's quite hot. What's this? A heat erasable pen. Oh, you wouldn't believe how long it took me to work that out. What a klutz. Okay, so anyway, that's that bit done. Thank goodness. And now I can start on the fun part, which is the stitching. I'm going to do some of the stitching here with you and finish the rest this evening and come back and do another video. I'm going to keep this video quite short and sweet. 3 lovely pinks in this that came in the box. I mean, those all go, don't they, really? I'm not going to have any big blocks of colour. It's really only going to be lines. Just want something then that's going to show up nicely against the denim as well. Some yellow might be nice, although that's not on there. It's variegated green. Oh, that would work well, wouldn't it? Yeah, okay, the variegated green, and I think one of the pinks. I also love, there are 2 different variegated blues, one darker than the other. But it's not really going to show against the denim blue, is it? So, decision made. Let's not overthink things. Yeah, I hope it's going to be alright to stitch through this stuff. I mean, that's what it's meant for, so it should be. I'm going to try this variegated green first because I just love it. I think I'm going to do a chain stitch around the outside of that ruler. I'm not going to see the back of my stitching this time, so I'm not going to worry about trying to do the tidy back side like I tried last time. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for the benefit of anyone who would like to see the basic stitches. If not, you can skip over this bit, won't be offended. I have had a few people ask to show the stitches better, so making sure I'm only going through one thickness. So I've just done a little knot, which is going to be on the back. So to do a chain stitch, I'm going to work right to left because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you probably want to work the other way, but you can work up or down as well. I find it fairly easy to go in any direction, to be honest, with chain stitch. I've come out where I want to start. I'm taking my thread off in the direction I'm working in, and I'm looping back like this. I'm creating this little loop, and then I'm going back in very, very close to where I came out and taking a little stitch, and I'm taking note of the length of that stitch because I want to try and keep the length of that stitch the same all the way through this section. And then I'm pulling the needle through so that the thread comes out over the top of and through that loop. So there's the loop, the thread's coming out over the top, so that when you pull it through, it catches it and stops that loop going back through the hole. And you just made the first little link of the chain stitch. And now I'm going to go back in very, very close to where I came out again. Try and take the same length of stitch to keep it neat. That's as near as I can get anyway. Again, my thread is looping back, heading off in the direction I'm working in, and looping back, and I'm going to pull it through so that my thread comes out over the top of that loop. Do it like that. You don't want to pull it. You want to pull it, so that it's neat and it sort of sits in, kind of thing. Sort of sets itself, but you don't want to pull it so tight that it starts to wrinkle up the fabric. And actually, this is doing a nice job, this stuff, of not letting the fabric wrinkle up. Although denim, of course, it's also got some stability in itself, hasn't it? So I'm just going to keep going like that. Yeah. And I think because it's a variegated thread, that will keep it looking more interesting as well. Yeah, I'm not finding this is... I thought it might leave a bit of a sticky residue on the needle or something, but it's not, so that's good. I was looking today in the Facebook group, in my Facebook group, the Arty Farty Annie group on Facebook, and in the Stitch Kit Crafters group. I noticed that Wendy Dutton had posted a lovely picture of what she made with her. But so she got one of these boxes, but she got a different transfer book and a different set of colours and stuff. It looked gorgeous, really gorgeous. But she had a calico bag. She did a practice piece. She made a calico pouch, and she did this beautifully. She must be much quicker stitcher than me. Yeah, it looks lovely what she's doing. So if you're getting any of these February Craft of the Month boxes from Stitch Kit, please do post pictures. There'll be a link in the description box. If you click on my link tree, from there you can find the Facebook group and the Discord community and my email. All that stuff is there. I will also, of course, put a link to Stitch Kit in case you want to check them out. Love to see pictures of what people are making, either in using the boxes that they've got, or inspired by projects that I've been making. I know a couple of people were so taken with the transfer book they've been and bought the transfer book. I believe Stitch Kit are doing a thing this month where if you post what you've made from your February boxes, because they do all kinds of boxes, not just the Craft of the Month box, they do all kinds of subscription boxes and one-off boxes and things. If you post pictures of what you've done with your February boxes, you'll be put into a prize draw at the end of the month. I'm not sure what the prize is. I love that variegated. It's just a very subtle graduation from the lighter colour towards the darker colour. And you can see it goes, the really darkest part is quite dark. There were 20 skeins of thread altogether in this box. I think Wendy said she got 26 in hers, because you can, when you customise your box, you fill in like a questionnaire thing saying what your preferences are, and you can say things like, if you don't want equipment and things, so if that's the case, then they can make up with more fabric or more threads. Or okay, so let's just show how I'm doing the end here. So this is, I can't really squeeze any more out of this little bit of thread, so that's the last stitch I'm going to make. And now I'm just going to take the thread just slightly over here so that it holds down the end of that link. So it's just sort of couches it down. I'm just going to put that through like that. So that's finished off that end. Take it to the back. And now I'll go back through that previous stitch, make a little loop and put the needle back through it a couple of times just to be on the safe side. There we go. That's like making almost a little surgeon's knot there to stop it coming undone. And then I'll just weave the ends, just wrap them around a few of the stitches there to make that lie flat. I'm going to finish going all around there. Let's show a different stitch. Now let's use a pink, and we'll do the measure twice in a back stitch that I'll whip later. And I'm going to use this one. I'm using 2 strands of this. It's all 6-stranded embroidery floss. So for anybody that's not used to it, when they talk about embroidery floss, stranded cotton, things like that, they usually, it's this. It's got 6 strands in it, and you fairly, well, nearly all the time, you'll be using 2 strands. Oh, and this is how I do the knot. So there's the pointy end of the needle. I'm holding the end of the thread there like that against the needle. Hold that in my right hand for a minute. Wrap it round a couple of times, maybe 3 times, be on the safe side. Oops. And then swapping hands now, I'm going to hold the needle with that hand tightly enough to stop it all coming apart, but loose enough so I can now pull the needle through like this. And hey presto, a magic knot. Right, let's do back stitch for this one. So I'm just leaving my knot on the back again, which is not the proper way to do it really, but it's not going to show, so I'm not going to worry. You should be able to see it's better because it's pink. So take my little stitch forward, leave a gap, try and make it the same length as that previous stitch, put it through, and then take a stitch back down that same hole again, like that. Now leave a little gap and come up again, and then go back. So you can see that a bit better now. I'm going to whip this. It's something I really like to do, is to whip the back stitch, because it kind of defines the line, makes it stand out a bit more, tidies it all up, makes it more of a line than separate stitches. So I'm going to come back up where I finished that line, and now I'm not stitching into the fabric now, I'm just wrapping the thread around the stitches that I did before. So, and sometimes it helps to use the blunt end of the needle if it keeps catching. So I'm going to go underneath this stitch, but not through the fabric, and I've gone right to left there. Doesn't matter with a straight line which way you go, but as long as you do it the same every time really. So I'm coming back to the right and going right to left again under that next stitch. Same again, right to left under the stitch, and it just, you can see it now looks more like a solid line than the separate stitches. If you're going around, if you're doing this on a curved letter, you want to go from the outside of the curve in. So for the C, I'll work from this side and go that way. Work from there towards there, work from there towards there, so that it keeps the curve nicely. So I will do all of those words like that. In some cases I quite like to whip the chain stitch in the same way that I'm just whipping that back stitch, because then it gives you a really thick chunky line, which is quite nice. So the only other different stitch I think I'm going to do on here will be a blanket stitch for this middle piece. I think that would be quite nice, so let's do some of that. Let's use the pink for that just because I haven't used it yet. So this time I'm going to do a blanket stitch all around here with the kind of straight edge of the blanket stitch on this outer ring and the legs going in towards the middle. So to start a blanket stitch, you want to come up on the outer edge, and again you can work left to right, right to left, up and down actually, whichever way you're comfortable with. I think, I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I find. So I've come out there, and now I'm going to go back in towards the centre, and this is going to be a bit different from usual. I'm not going to be going straight, I'm going to have to fan these inwards. So I'm going to keep imagining there's a centre dot there and heading my needle down towards that. So this is where I want to, so if I was following towards that dot, that centre dot, that would be the right angle. So that's going to be my angle for this. I'm going to go in there and then back out a little bit further along on that outside ring. And again, like with the chain stitch, making sure the needle comes up over the top of and through that loop I'll try and show that a bit better. So now I'm going to move a little way along. I'm working this way. Again, imagining that centre dot, I'm going to come about here. So I want to go there. Bring my needle out again on that outside ring. The thread is looped around the back of the needle so that it comes up with the thread on top of that loop. This is kind of like an eyelet as well, I guess. No, an eyelet you would have this edge would be in the middle, I think. Yeah. So this is like a backwards eyelet, isn't it? A polo in there. Do they still make fruity polos? Let's do one more. You don't need to watch any. You don't need to watch hours of this, do you? There we go. So I will work all the way around doing that. I might then even decide I want to do a chain stitch around the outside. I might do another chain stitch around here. I think I'm going to use this variegated thread to show the kind of what would be the metal part of the wheels. This will just be a straight stitch along here to show that cutting line, and I'll just do straight stitches here for the edge of the ruler. So it's going to be pretty simple. The next new bit will be when I try wetting this and taking it off and then I shall iron it, and then I'll be ready to line it and turn it into a pouch. So I'm going to stop this video now, and then I'll come back tomorrow and do another one. So we'll have a couple of different shorter ones rather than one very long video. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. One of the things that really took my imagination was looking up Aneela Hoey, who I hadn't even heard of before I saw that book. And she seems to be very well known for making all these different kinds of pouches and other kind of craft storage things, like folders with lots of pockets in, and there's like a box thing that folds up into, it looks like a pencil case, but when you unzip it, it opens out into a box, things like that. And the online patterns are quite expensive, to be honest, but there was a book, I did see a book with a selection of patterns in it, and our Susie Q made some things from it as well. So if you want to see some of those, have a look at Susie Q. I don't think it's one of her more recent videos, but if you go to Susie Q Makes, I'll put her in the description, and type in, I don't know, maybe I don't know if she would have used Aneela Hoey in the title, probably, because that's how I discovered that she'd done it, because I was looking for Aneela Hoey on YouTube. Anyway, enough waffling about that. As always, at the end of my videos now, thank you so much to all my lovely channel members. I really appreciate you. It's really kind of you to show your support for us in that way. Tom and I are very, very grateful. I'm going to be scrolling the names of our 36 channel members up here as I'm talking. Yeah, I've been quite blown away by the response. Really, really appreciate it. But you know, don't worry if you can't or don't want to join. You know, the Discord community and the Facebook group and everything is still going to be there and still free. You're just as much a part of the. Nobody's going to be left out because they're not a channel member. And of course, we also appreciate your support in just watching the videos, clicking the like button, leaving comments, just being part of the community. You know, it's all of that is very much appreciated too. So that really is quite enough waffle from me for one day. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon.